Hello and welcome to Camera Reviews. A1 Britain on the Verge by Peter Dench. Sponsored by Olympus. In fact, everything I'm shooting at the minute is also on the OMD, and what I'm copying this little video on is the Olympus. They're great cameras. Not many people have this. I think you had to go to the exhibition. Peter kindly sent me one. I'll have a little look at it. A few people have attempted to photograph the life along the Great A1. I've lived at the top of it in Newcastle, and I've lived at the bottom of it in London. I'm well aware from my commute up north of the A1, and it's been a bit of a part of my life. It's an intriguing place. It's full of different cultural aspects of British life, from buildings and old and new to different communities, service stations, meeting points, relics of industry, everything. It's an amazing road. There's a few people, like I said, try to and have successfully documented it, and the latest one is Peter Dench. Peter's a great photographer. He's just come back from the World Cup, and his latest travel log and on the Trans-Siberian, and his focus on World Cup football supporters in Russia will be coming out very soon. I'll find something to do with that exhibition. I might even go and gate crash it and video it, and I will also find and see if I can get a little booklet to talk about from that. So I'm going to give you a quick look. Like I said, I don't even know where you'd get this, but I'm sure Peter may part with some if you put silver on his palms, and if you give him a shout. I'm putting a link to Peter's website, and you can see all his other work. He's got a vast array of commercial work and private work. He's very successful in publishing his private work, and rightly so. It's great stuff. I love it. I've got all of his books, and at some point when I get the time, I will look at them and give you an insight into them, and maybe inspire you to go and buy some. Okay, so let's have a look. I love this shot. It's a really great shot. The Road Atlas, gosh, being a photographer for 25 years, before sat-navs were really affordable and in our accessibility, in our grasp, this was the only way to get around. And I remember I'm not far gone into the past there, that I was printing out endless maps to go on shoots and do stuff in. So this Collins Britain is really significant to me, and even that's 2010. I still use maps, to be honest, and I use them with sat-navs. So really symbolic opening shot for me, beautifully composed. So let's have a look. I think it's a little bit of text about the people he's met and what he came across: Doncaster, Baldock Extra Motorway Services, the Angel of the North, Rockery Centre, blah, blah, blah. That's words from Peter. So we're starting in St Paul's, so that's the sort of beginning spot. I think everything's measured. Like, obviously St Paul's is near Charing Cross. I think the whole mileage system in this country is based on Charing Cross. I might be wrong. So when you're outside London, it's 100 miles to London. You are literally 100 miles from Charing Cross. I might be wrong. But because this is because it's in St Paul's, which is near, I wonder if that's quite a significant starting point. Anyway, so we have some workers. This is all in St Martin's le Grand in London. That's great. Goswell Road. And interesting, the format seems to be 4.3 ratio. So on the Olympus you can get 1.1693443, 16:9, sorry. And I think judging by this, it's 4.3. Whereas I think his other book, he did Dench Does Dallas. That seemed to be in a 1.1 ratio, like a square format. So looking at this, I feel it's on the 4.3 aspect ratio. I have to say, shooting with the Olympus and putting in some flash, it's incredible. That looks like a 16:9 format. I might be completely wrong here. It doesn't. I doubt Peter's cropping his work, but there might be. Actually, it might because of the type of shot, he's actually put it into a 16:9 ratio, aspect ratio. So yeah, so he does play around with the aspect ratio using the Olympus, and which I find quite interesting, because old days where people just work with 1.1 or 6.6 as we call it, or they worked in 35mm, and I think we've got that option at the touch of a button now, where we could just press and choose, and it's given me a lifeline, because now I can shoot myself in square format and not have to worry about buying a medium format camera. So where we're at, we're in London, we're starting off. Yeah, this is it. This is going off Hornsey Lane Bridge and Suicide Bridge, and I know this, but just go down there and there's that system. Yep, I'm mumbling to myself, which is here actually. I'm sure it is. This is the bottom part of this. I might be totally wrong. Anyway, yeah. So this is the route out. As you're going up to the North Circular there. A little bit of traditional aspect. That looks like Highgate. I love this. Shooting with the Olympus, I find it's quite tricky. Obviously, Peter's got it down to fine art, and I've got some really nice stuff with this 4.3 ratio with the flash, and I just find, because I'm an old school, say Nikon user, 35mm, I look through the viewfinder. I tend never to look through the viewfinder on the Olympus. I'm always looking at the screen, so it's been a hard transition for me to get that right. It's got its pluses and its negatives and stuff like that, but the quality, if you get it right, and getting the lighting right and stuff like that, it can be stunning, absolutely stunning. I think you sort of nailed that shot there. I love that. Using the into Bedfordshire now, using the leisure aspects, and you know, Peter works hard and trying to find his little, to try and deliver his message, you know, and trying to get things across. He doesn't just turn up to places. Peter works hard at trying to develop a narrative structure within his work, and I know that Dench does Dallas. He worked, even the short amount of time he was there, he worked really hard. Not many photographers can go out and shoot something in such a small amount of time and come back with an accomplished piece of work. I listen to photographers or meet people who have been shooting stuff for 10, 15 years, and they're no closer to the end of stuff, and I sometimes question, that's okay. Can you give us 10 minutes?
Yeah, have you got time? Can I just take a timetable for Janet?
There. They're over there. Yeah.
Sorry, mate.
That's all right.
Sorry.
You all right? I'll let you off because you're leaving. Okay, so yeah, and there's not many photographers who can produce such an accomplished amount of work in a short space of time, and I appreciate that with Peter's work. I appreciate his vision. I see what he's doing, and I aspire to it actually, because I'm still very active, and I look at somebody like Peter, and because I'm shooting on similar stuff to him, and it makes me want to get out there. It makes me want to try some of the stuff he's doing. So Peter's quite an inspiration for me in his work and his work ethic and his vision. You know, I don't want to copy what he's done. I want to do things my way, and I may not achieve the success in the books he's had, but I'm quite happy using him as a sort of visual reference point with my work, and I like that. And I see how he's doing stuff with the same equipment I'm roughly using. And I understand then what I'm able to do and achieve in terms technically, and then I sort of devise contextually from there. I'm covering this shot, it's a bit suggestive, and I don't want to spoil anything. There's a card with a little note on. I think I don't want to Peter Dench, Verge. So that's a little card from his Alcohol England series, or something to do with his alcohol series. Okay, motorway services, signage, very atmospheric, going to Cambridgeshire. So he's obviously gone off the beaten track a little bit and look for leisure time activities, understanding good visual points, and this is old school, old style. These are old style sort of cafe stops and stuff, which you still get on there. Tends to be truck stops now and stuff like that. Great. People don't think you can stop at a truck stop, usually behind a main service station, but they're great places to get great food as well. So, yeah, I think what I find interesting, what Peter's done here, is that I've seen the work of other photographers who've concentrated on the A1. They've concentrated on the A1. I think what I'm seeing with Peter's work here, he's using it as secondary. He's including it in bits. There's no great detail apart from the London shots where you're actually establishing it's a road. I think he's using it geographically to sort of home in on people and environments, people living there, things what are happening, all that sort of stuff. Obviously, I'm contradicted because there's something there, but I think he's gone away from the road and looked at what's around the geographical locations of the road, you know, going into Doncaster itself, and it's given you sort of more of a visual understanding of what's going on en route of the A1 and a little bit more of Britain. And love the shot. I love that shot. It's great. Good people shots. So passed that many times. Ferry Bridge, power station. This, I saw somebody shoot there many years ago, and I was absolutely totally intrigued by the Ferry Bridge power station. People living under that, incredible. I think Peter Marlowe did some stuff on this many years ago as well. It's interesting format. I like them when they're bigger. I like this sort of, because they're so powerful. Angel of the North. Classic Newcastle. Morpeth. Up to Lindisfarne, up to Northumberland. That is great, yeah. I've been there a few times on the Lindisfarne route to Holy Island. Great, look at that. It's capturing that light, you know. I'm looking at the certain lighting he's using as well as there's definitely the English greyness in all the lighting here, which is interesting, apart from this one here, which is obviously sunny and contrasted, but the rest of it has gone very grey in terms of the clouding. I've stood there a few times myself. Over the years, I didn't do it every time I passed. Love it. Great stuff. What I want you to do is check out Peter's website. I'll put a link. Have a look at his work. Have a look at his other stuff, which he's done. Dench does Dallas, A&E, Alcohol in England projects, Britain's Abroad, great stuff. Takes a lot of courage, a lot of determination, a lot of sacrifice to do these things. It might all look glamorous in the end and great, but you've got to get out there and do it. And it's great having a vision, but if you don't get out and shoot it, it's never going to happen. And I think, you know, to end this, to say Peter Dench is like John Angerson as well, who I've covered, and these are people who are getting out there and doing it, and you've got to get out there and do it if you want to get books, if you want to create photography projects. The people who get out and try are the ones who win. You've got to be in it to win it. All right, thanks Peter, it's a great book, mate.